I never thought I would be one of those people that had an experience like this. In October of 2017, my girlfriend and I decided to take a trip to Sedona, Arizona. It's a beautiful place full of red rocks and hiking trails. We had been planning this trip for months, and were very excited to finally go. When we got there, we checked into our Airbnb and started to unpack. The Airbnb was located at the bottom of a mountain with a long driveway. On both sides of the driveway were large boulders that looked like they were placed there naturally, but we soon realized they were actually man-made. As we unpacked, we noticed that one of the boulders was actually a safe. This was weird because when we made the reservation, the host mentioned nothing about a safe. Later that evening, after it got dark, we went to bed. In the morning, we woke up and decided to make some breakfast, and then go on a hike. When we opened the front door to leave, we saw that right in front of the door was a pair of muddy footprints. My girlfriend and I both have small feet, and these footprints were definitely not ours. I took a picture of them so that later on we could show it to the host. On our hike, we walked around and enjoyed nature and the beautiful scenery. We didn't see anyone on the trail, which was strange because it was a popular trail. After a couple hours, we decided to head back home. When we arrived, we saw 2 more sets of footprints on the porch. These ones were much larger than the first set. The host had also written us a note saying that she had a late cancellation and that she needed to come stay at the Airbnb. At this point, I was getting creeped out, because how could she have gotten here before us if she had a late cancellation? My girlfriend and I decided that we wanted to get out of there. We packed up and left. And on the way out, we stopped by the office to hand the keys over. The host wasn't there, but her husband was. I told him about the footprints, and he said, "Oh yeah, those are bear prints." I said, "But the footprints are too small to be a bear." He just kind of laughed and walked away. When we got on the road, we decided to stop at a gas station to get some lunch. While we were getting our food, I checked my phone and I saw that I had received a text from the host. She said that she wasn't able to get a ride back to the Airbnb from the airport. So she was going to cancel the rest of our reservation, and we would have to pay for the remaining nights. We relieved. My girlfriend and I headed further down the road. A few hours later, we were driving through Flagstaff, Arizona, when all of a sudden, we started to get a flat tire. We pulled off to the side of the road and my girlfriend started to change the tire. A guy in a pickup truck stopped to see if we needed any help. We said that we were fine and just needed a tire iron. He said that he had one in his truck and then proceeded to tell us a scary story. He said that a few years ago a young couple was camping in the woods near where we were staying, and one night they were awoken in their tent to what sounded like screams in the forest. They unzipped the tent to see a tall, skinny, hairy man walking away from their camp. They immediately got in their car and drove away. The man then told us that a few weeks later their car was found abandoned on the side of the road and their bodies were never recovered. I thanked him for the story and told him that we didn't need any help anymore. We continued on our drive and finally arrived at our next hotel. We checked in and went to our room. Later that night, I couldn't sleep because I was watching videos on my laptop and my girlfriend was reading a book. Around 3 a.m., I heard what sounded like footsteps outside our door. I told my girlfriend what I heard and she said, "Don't be silly. There's probably just some pipes or something." I laid back down and tried to sleep. About 10 minutes later, I heard the footsteps again. It sounded like someone walking back and forth. At this point, I was really scared. I don't remember what the layout of the hotel room was, but I distinctly remember the closet being directly across from the door and the only other entrance into the bathroom. I sat there frozen in fear as I listened to whatever was in the closet. Then I started to hear what sounded like a voice whispering my name. I will never forget the terror and the helplessness that I felt in that moment. I turned on the light and yelled for my girlfriend to call 911. I don't know why. I did this because I knew that no one was ever going to believe me. When I called 911, the operator asked me what was wrong and I stuttered and said that I needed the police to come over to my hotel room. When I said this, the voice in the closet stopped. I told the operator that I was hearing voices and footsteps and that I was scared. I don't remember what else I said. The operator must have sent the police because within a couple minutes the door to the room was being pounded on. The officer knocked several times and then opened the door and walked in. I was still yelling and the officer looked around the room and then asked me what was wrong. I pointed to the closet and said, "He's in there." The officer looked in the closet and said, "There's nothing in there." I insisted that there was someone in there and that I had seen him. The officer then asked my girlfriend what had happened and she told him everything. Still, he didn't find anything. He ended up staying in the room with us for about 30 minutes, but nothing else happened during that time. He eventually left and said that if anything else happened to call him back. The next morning after, of course, not sleeping at all, we checked out of the hotel and hit the road again. This is when things got weird. My girlfriend and I were driving in silence when all of a sudden, I heard what sounded like a knock on the car. I rolled down my window and we kept driving. Then I heard it again. It sounded like someone was knocking on the roof of the car. I told my girlfriend what I heard and she said that she didn't hear anything. Then I heard it a third time. Whatever it was, it sounded like it was hitting the very top of the car. My girlfriend and I both looked at each other scared. We both agreed that we needed to pull over. When we stopped, we looked around but didn't see anything. We decided to drive a little further down the road and then stop again. When we did, we noticed that there were a bunch of pine cones on the road and that S when it hit me. Whoever or whatever was in the closet of that hotel room had followed us. I don't even want to think about what was in that closet. All I know is that I am glad to be alive. This is truly a horror story that I hope you enjoy. If you did, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.